in suburban Ohio, where two little girls, Natasha and Yelena, seem to be living the perfect childhood. But what they don't know is that their entire family is fake, and within the next hour, their lives will change forever. After taking a small fall, Yelena starts crying. Their mother, Melina, gently comforts her with a lesson she'll never forget. The more it hurts, the stronger you become. A simple family moment, or at least, that's how it appears, because none of these people are actually a real family. Alexei is secretly the Red Guardian, while Melina is a highly trained Russian operative. Together, they've spent years living undercover inside the United States, on a mission for the Soviet Union. Only Yelena believes this life is real. She was too young to know it was all part of an operation. Then everything changes. Alexei finally returns with the classified SHIELD data they came to steal. Their mission is complete. Now they have less than an hour before their cover is exposed. The family races toward a hidden airstrip, hoping to escape before anyone catches them. They're already too late. SHIELD agents surround the runway. A fierce gunfight erupts. Alexei fights his way through the ambush, and the family barely escapes aboard a small aircraft. But Melina is shot during the escape. Hours later, they land safely in Cuba, where a man far more dangerous than Alexei is waiting. General Dreykov, the mastermind behind the Red Room. Years earlier, Dreykov transformed Alexei into the Red Guardian, creating a Soviet super soldier powerful enough to rival Captain America. Alexei hands over the stolen data and confirms the mission is complete. Dreykov is satisfied. Alexei isn't. After years of undercover operations, he's exhausted and wants out. Dreykov has no intention of letting that happen. As Melina is rushed away for medical treatment, Yelena desperately runs after her. She still believes Melina is her real mother. A soldier grabs the frightened little girl. Natasha reacts instantly. She snatches his gun and points it straight at everyone. For just a moment, a child stands against an entire army. Alexei calmly takes the weapon away before kneeling in front of both girls. No matter what happens, you always protect each other. Neither of them realizes those are the last words they'll ever hear from the man they believed was their father. Seconds later, both girls are sedated and flown to the Red Room. This isn't a school, it's a factory. A place where young girls are stripped of their childhood and turned into living weapons. Only a handful survive the brutal training. Those who do are transformed into Black Widows. A chemical formula and neural implants leave them fully aware, yet completely unable to disobey Dreykov's commands. Over the years, he secretly places these widows inside governments, intelligence agencies, and powerful organizations across the world, building an invisible empire no one even knows exists. 21 years later, Natasha Romanoff is now one of the world's most wanted fugitives. After violating the Sokovia Accords, she's forced into hiding while Secretary Ross hunts her across the globe. She quickly discovers a tracker hidden on her vehicle, dumps it inside an abandoned building, and quietly disappears by boat. At the very same time, Yelena is still serving the Red Room, still under Dreykov's control. Her latest mission is simple: recover a mysterious package from a former widow named Oksana. The moment Oksana spots them, she runs. Yelena catches her within seconds and carries out her orders without hesitation. But just before dying, Oksana releases a strange red mist directly into Yelena's face. Everything changes. The chemical instantly destroys Dreykov's mind control. For the first time in years, Yelena is finally herself again. Horrified by everything she's done, she listens as Oksana delivers one final message. The remaining widows are still enslaved, and only Yelena can save them. Moments later, Oksana dies. Yelena immediately tears the tracking chip out of her own body, grabs the remaining antidote vials, and disappears before the Red Room can find her again. When the mission fails, Dreykov doesn't send ordinary agents. He unleashes his deadliest weapon, Taskmaster, a near-perfect assassin equipped with technology that instantly copies any fighting style after seeing it only once. Her only objective: recover the stolen antidote. Meanwhile, Natasha is hiding inside a remote safe house in Norway, one of the few Avengers still free after the Civil War. Her old friend Rick Mason delivers fresh documents, fake passports, and supplies before pointing toward a forgotten box of mail forwarded from Budapest. Natasha barely gives it a second thought. She tosses the box into her car, planning to throw it away later. She has no idea Yelena secretly mailed the antidote to her, hoping the Avengers could help free every remaining widow. That night, Natasha heads into town after her generator runs out of fuel. Halfway across a bridge, everything explodes. A mysterious attacker destroys her vehicle, sending it crashing into the river below. Natasha barely survives. The attacker steps forward, shield in one hand, sword in the other. Taskmaster. The fight is unlike anything Natasha has ever experienced. Every punch, every kick, every move she makes Taskmaster copies it instantly, realizing the assassin isn't hunting her, but the package. Natasha creates a brief opening, grabs the antidote, and escapes. Taskmaster snatches the bag and throws it into the river, only to discover it's empty, because Natasha had already taken the only thing that truly mattered. Climbing out of the river, Natasha realizes she managed to save one of the red antidote vials. Inside, she finds an old childhood photo of herself and Yelena. That's all the proof she needs. Yelena sent it. Natasha immediately heads to their old safe house in Budapest, hoping to find her sister. She does, but the reunion isn't exactly emotional. The second Natasha steps inside, Yelena attacks. Years of anger explode all at once. She never forgave Natasha for leaving her behind in the red room. The sisters fight through the apartment, destroying almost everything in sight. Eventually, Natasha pins Yelena against a curtain, tightening it around her neck. Only then does she realize she's going too far. She immediately lets go. Instead of fighting again, Natasha holds up the red vial. What is this? Yelena finally reveals the truth. It's a synthetic antidote, capable of breaking Dracov's mind control. Natasha can't understand why Yelena would drag her back into all this. Yelena's answer is simple. Natasha is the only Avenger she knows personally, and the only person she believes can destroy the Red Room. There's just one problem. Natasha thought the Red Room had already been destroyed years ago. She believed Dracov died in Budapest. Yelena quietly shakes her head. That's what he wanted you to believe. She asks Natasha one question. Did you ever actually see his body? Silence. Natasha remembers planting the bomb alongside Hawkeye. The explosion was so massive there was nothing left to identify. She simply assumed Dracov was dead. For the first time, she realizes she may have been wrong all along. Before either of them can say another word, the Red Room strikes first. Dracov already knows Natasha has the antidote. Within minutes, Black Widows surround the building. The sisters barely escape across the rooftops. During the chase, one widow slips and nearly falls. Natasha instinctively reaches out to save her, but before she can, the widow activates an emergency transmitter. Seconds later, Dracov kills his own operative remotely, rather than risk her being captured alive. Natasha finally understands what they're dealing with. These women aren't loyal, they're prisoners. Yelena doesn't waste the moment. There are dozens more just like her, still trapped under Dracov's control. The chase continues through the streets of Budapest. Yelena steals a motorcycle while Taskmaster tears after them, driving an armored tank. After a brief escape through the alleyways, another widow shoots out their tire. The sisters hijack a nearby car, only for Taskmaster to destroy it with a single explosive arrow. The vehicle crashes straight into a subway station. Yelena injures her arm in the impact. As she starts wrapping the wound, Natasha suddenly stops her. An idea hits. Using Yelena's blood as a false trail, Natasha tricks Taskmaster into following the wrong scent before hiding Yelena inside an old storm drain. It's a place Natasha knows well. Years ago, she and Hawkeye survived there while hiding after the Budapest mission. While they wait for the danger to pass, Natasha finally asks about Taskmaster. Yelena doesn't sugarcoat it. Taskmaster copies every fighting style after seeing it only once. Fighting her is like fighting your own reflection. Then Yelena asks the one question she's carried for years. Why did you kill Dracov's daughter? For the first time, Natasha struggles to answer. The mission was supposed to eliminate Dracov. Then his young daughter unexpectedly entered the building. Natasha knew exactly what it meant. Dracov was inside. If she walked away, the Red Room would survive. So she detonated the bomb anyway. It's the one decision she's never been able to forgive herself for. Later, while gathering supplies at a roadside gas station, Natasha asks the obvious question. If Dracov is still alive, where is the Red Room? Yelena has no answer. Every widow is unconscious whenever they're transported there. No one ever learns its location. Natasha still has doubts. If Dracov survived, why hasn't he come after her? Because attacking an Avenger would bring every hero on Earth straight to his doorstep. Remaining invisible has always been his greatest weapon. Then Yelena asks something far more personal. If Natasha escaped all those years ago, why didn't she ever come back? Natasha doesn't hide behind excuses. She truly believed Dracov was dead. She believed Yelena had escaped too, and assumed her little sister wanted nothing to do with her. That silence lasted for years. As night falls, Natasha quietly bandages Yelena's injured arm. For the first time since reuniting, the sisters simply talk. Yelena explains that the antidote was secretly created by another former widow. Enough of it exists to free every Black Widow still trapped under Dracov's control. Natasha doesn't hesitate. Then they'll free every last one of them. Yelena gives a tired smile. Finding the Red Room is nearly impossible. Killing Dracov? Even harder. Natasha just smiles back. Sounds like a plan. The next morning, the sisters steal another vehicle and head toward Russia. If anyone still knows where the Red Room is, it's the man who once worked for Dreykov himself, Alexei, the Red Guardian. The only problem, he's serving a life sentence inside one of Russia's most heavily guarded prisons. Years behind bars have left the former super soldier older, heavier, and badly out of practice. Then something unexpected arrives. A small Red Guardian action figure hidden inside his prison mail. Inside the toy, an earpiece. Natasha is already waiting, guiding him through the escape in real time. Alexei fights his way through dozens of guards and finally reaches the prison yard, just as Natasha's helicopter arrives overhead. Freedom is only a few feet away. Then more soldiers surround him. Gunfire erupts from every direction. Natasha jumps into the fight to clear a path, while Yelena solves the problem the only way she knows how. She blows up the entire guard tower. The massive explosion throws the prison into complete chaos. Prisoners scatter, guards panic, and in the middle of the confusion, Natasha finally pulls Alexei aboard the helicopter. The Red Guardian is free. Natasha demands to know where the Red Room is hidden. Alexei doesn't have the answer. After years in prison, even he has no idea where Dreykov relocated it. The moment he questioned Dreykov's plans, he was thrown behind bars and forgotten. Still, he does know one person who might have the answers: Melina. The same scientist who once posed as their fake mother is still working for Dreykov at a remote farm outside St. Petersburg. The group's battered helicopter barely makes it halfway before running out of fuel and crashing into the wilderness. Forced to continue on foot, they eventually reach Melina's isolated farmhouse. At first, she mistakes them for intruders and raises her rifle. Then she recognizes the faces standing in front of her. For the first time in decades, her fake family is back together. Melina quietly welcomes everyone inside, but the reunion feels anything but warm. Natasha never takes her eyes off her, unsure whether she can still be trusted. Dinner quickly turns uncomfortable, especially after Alexei proudly walks in wearing his old Red Guardian suit, as if nothing had ever happened. Finally, Natasha gets straight to the point. She wants the location of the Red Room. Melina's expression turns serious. According to her, defeating Dreykov isn't just difficult, it's nearly impossible. He doesn't rule through fear anymore. He controls people completely. To prove it, Melina calls over one of her trained pigs and calmly orders it to stop breathing. The animal obeys instantly. Everyone watches in horror as it collapses without resisting. Melina explains that years ago, they stole Hydra's research on the human brain from a secret shield facility. Dreykov improved the technology until he could override a person's free will completely. Anyone under his control would obey any command, even if it meant killing themselves. And now, those agents are hidden all over the world. The truth crushes Yelena. She finally explodes. The woman she believed was her real mother had handed her over to become another widow without ever telling her the truth. Unable to hold back her emotions any longer, she storms out of the room. Alexei quietly follows after her. Meanwhile, Natasha asks the question that's haunted her for years. What happened to her real parents? Melina hesitates before admitting the truth. In the early days, many girls were taken directly from their families. Natasha's mother refused to give her up and spent years searching for her daughter. Dreykov eventually had her killed. The words hit Natasha harder than any punch ever could. Looking through an old family photo album, Melina finally admits something she's buried for years. By the time Natasha entered the program, Melina had already survived 4 separate Red Room experiments. She'd spent so much of her life inside Dreykov's system, she no longer knew how to live outside it. Natasha gently reminds her of something Melina herself once taught 2 little girls years ago. The more it hurts, the stronger we become. Those words finally break through Melina's guilt. With tears in her eyes, she confesses one last secret. She already told Dreykov exactly where they are. The Red Room is coming, but this time, she's done following orders. Instead of betraying them again, she decides to help destroy Dreykov for good. A risky plan comes together almost immediately. Using advanced face-masking technology, Melina creates identical disguises for herself and Natasha. Once inside the Red Room, Natasha will secretly activate her tracker, allowing Secretary Ross to locate the hidden fortress and arrest Dreykov once and for all. With hidden earpieces keeping everyone connected, the trap is finally set. Not long afterward, Dreykov's soldiers arrive at the farmhouse. Alexei is knocked unconscious, almost immediately. Yelena tries to fight back, but is eventually subdued. Meanwhile, Natasha, disguised as Melina, secretly sedates the real Melina to keep the deception perfect. Even Taskmaster is fooled. Everyone is transported to the Red Room, only this time, the audience discovers its biggest secret. The entire facility isn't underground, it's a massive flying fortress hidden high above the clouds. Disguised as Melina, Natasha confidently walks straight toward Dreykov. For a brief moment, it almost works. But Dreykov immediately sees through the disguise and rips the mask off her face. At the same time, Alexei and the real Milena wake up inside a holding cell. Fortunately, Milena designed the prison herself. Within moments, she disables the locks, frees Alexei, and reveals Natasha's entire infiltration plan. Elsewhere, Yelena is strapped to a machine that's preparing to overwrite her mind once again. Just before the procedure begins, Milena reaches her through the earpiece, a hidden knife tucked inside her belt. Yelena quickly cuts herself free, knocks out every guard in the room, and heads toward the vault containing the remaining Red Widow antidote. Back in Dreykov's chamber, Natasha finally confronts the man who destroyed her life. She demands to know why he murdered her mother. Dreykov's answer is ice cold. She stood in his way. Then he delivers an even darker revelation. The daughter Natasha believed she'd accidentally killed years ago never actually died. Taskmaster removes her helmet. Standing underneath is Antonia, barely alive after the explosion. Dreykov rebuilt his own daughter with cybernetic implants and turned her into the perfect weapon. Every move, every fighting style, every opponent she sees, she can instantly copy. Natasha is horrified by what Dreykov turned his own child into. She begs him to let Antonia go. Instead, Dreykov sends her away to eliminate the rest of Natasha's team. Then Natasha smiles. According to her, that was the biggest mistake he could have made. With Taskmaster gone, nothing should stop her from killing him. She raises her pistol. Nothing happens. She reaches for her knife. Still nothing. That's when Dreykov reveals his final layer of control. Every widow has been chemically programmed, so they physically cannot attack him while they can smell his unique pheromones. No matter how badly they want to, their own bodies simply refuse to obey. And suddenly, Natasha realizes this fight is going to be far more complicated than she ever imagined. While Natasha keeps Dreykov distracted, Melina quietly slips into the Red Room's control center. If she can bring this flying fortress down, the entire operation will finally be exposed. Her plan is simple: bring the entire flying fortress crashing to the ground so Secretary Ross can finally locate Dreykov's hidden base. But before she can finish, Dreykov realizes something is wrong. The control room is immediately sealed, trapping Melina inside. Elsewhere, Alexei finds himself face-to-face with Taskmaster. The two launch into a brutal fight, while Yelena slips deeper into the facility, searching for the remaining antidote vials. Back in Dreykov's office, Natasha refuses to stop provoking him. Instead of running, she keeps him talking. Dreykov proudly reveals the truth behind his empire. His widows are hidden inside governments, intelligence agencies, and military organizations across the globe. Soon, even an Avenger will become his personal weapon. Exactly what Natasha wanted to hear. While Dreykov is distracted bragging about his power, Natasha suddenly slams her own face into a nearby desk, breaking her nose. The pain is brutal, but so is the result. Without her sense of smell, Dreykov's pheromone lock no longer works. For the first time, Natasha is finally free to fight back. She immediately attacks, but Dreykov triggers a full security lockdown. Within seconds, every remaining widow rushes in to protect him while he escapes. At the same time, Melina refuses to stay trapped. She overloads one of the Red Room's massive engine turbines, destroying part of the propulsion system. The explosion tears through the facility. Now the flying fortress is losing altitude, fast. Over the comms, she warns Yelena that they don't have much time left. Yelena quickly rigs one of the antidote vials to an explosive and heads straight toward Dreykov's location. Meanwhile, Alexei struggles against Taskmaster, whose copied fighting styles make her almost impossible to beat. Luckily, Melina arrives just in time and traps Taskmaster inside a containment cell, buying everyone a few precious minutes. Natasha continues chasing Dreykov, but the remaining widows overwhelm her before she can reach him. Just when she's about to lose, Yelena arrives. She detonates the modified antidote. A cloud of red gas rapidly fills the room. One by one, every widow breaks free from Dreykov's mind control. For the first time in years, they're finally themselves again. Natasha tells them there's no time to celebrate. The Red Room is falling apart. Everyone needs to evacuate immediately. Before leaving, she downloads Dreykov's entire global widow network onto a flash drive. No more secrets, no more hidden agents. On her way out, Natasha also frees Taskmaster, but Antonia's conditioning hasn't fully worn off yet. She attacks Natasha on pure instinct. Before either of them can finish the fight, another explosion rips through the collapsing fortress, separating them. Outside, Dreykov races toward an escape jet, convinced he's about to get away once again. Not this time. Yelena catches up just as the aircraft begins taking off. Seconds later, she blows it out of the sky. The explosion sends both of them falling through the clouds. Without hesitation, Natasha dives after Yelena and deploys a parachute at the very last second, saving her life. Moments later, Antonia appears one final time. But instead of fighting back, Natasha lowers her weapon. She removes Antonia's mask, injects her with the antidote, and finally frees Dracov's daughter from years of mind control. Then she quietly apologizes for everything. As the Red Room burns behind them, Natasha finally reunites with Yelena, this time not as fellow widows, as sisters. She admits she never should have left Yelena behind all those years ago. Soon Alexei and Milena join them, and for the first time, their fake family actually feels real. A short while later, Secretary Ross finally arrives. By now, the Red Room has already been destroyed. With Dracov gone and countless widows rescued, Ross focuses on the larger victory instead of arresting Natasha. Before they part ways, Natasha hands Yelena the flash drive containing Dracov's entire network. With Melina's help, they can recreate the antidote and free every widow still trapped around the world. As the rescued widows leave together to begin that mission, Natasha realizes something. If this broken family could find each other again, maybe the Avengers still have a chance too. 2 weeks later, Rick Mason delivers Natasha a new Quinjet. When he asks where she's headed, she smiles. "I've got a few Avengers to break out of prison and a few friendships to fix." And with that, she takes off toward the events of Avengers Infinity War. Post-credit scene. Sometime after the events of Avengers Endgame, Yelena visits Natasha's grave, still struggling to accept her sister's sacrifice. That's when a mysterious woman named Valentina approaches her with a new assignment. Her next target, Clint Barton. Valentina claims Hawkeye is responsible for Natasha's death.